Good afternoon, Judy Allen here, San Antonio, Texas. And yes, we're doing the craft along day 2 today, and I don't have my techie here, so bear with me a little bit. One thing we found out yesterday, which is when you put comments on there, we didn't see them. Or if, I don't know what YouTube's doing, but anyway, it's not allowing the stream to come live until 24 hours or after they get through checking through all the safety nets they go through or whatever. I don't know, so we'll see. I'm going to pay attention without my techie here today when you make a comment and everything else because we caught all that yesterday. So, anyway, it's just interesting to try something new and different. So, today we're actually making two projects, and you know we're going to do over the top slider card. But one thing I forgot to mention yesterday also is that actually the craft along is a collaborative effort between Francine Skinner and myself. So she designed six projects, I designed six projects, and she's one of my team members. But it's team members are not, customers are not, right? Either or. We all become like family after a while. So it's always pretty exciting. So let's go down the hands and let's do this. I'm going to show you both cards and we'll do over the over top card. Let's see if I can get my hands. There we go. So this is Francine designed this card here, and we're going to make it first, and then we're going to do the over the top one that I made here. And actually, I made it for Margaret Mom for her birthday. And I'll tell you a little bit more when we get to that. But yes, we're going to do these two right here. So yes, don't forget to leave comments, and I will keep an eye on it. All right, so I'm going to set this aside right here. I'm going to do this because this is very simple, easy card. And I like it, right? Because they have so many different panels in the package, right? So it makes it really nice and easy to make some different cards. So we're just going to take our card base here on this one. And I'm just going to fold it in half. And get this one made. Let's see if I can see the chat from where I'm at. I can, Tina. I can. Good afternoon, my friend. I always enjoy your good morning, your happy smiley face stuff that you send. So this one here, right, I just sized it down a little bit. I kept the width as much as I could because you have like a little bit of a border between all the different scenic frames they have. And I'm going to keep as much as possible so they don't necessarily go to the size of our pages, but I at least did it that way, right? And I'm just going to put it right here. I like it when they make it things so simple. So I actually did size it down to about 5 1/4 a little bit, but you can see I still kept a little bit of the very vanilla edges, just like she did. Okay, and then these are already done. So this is the dies you get with it. But I'm going to stamp "Oh Bother" here. And most probably, one thing I like that Francine does is she definitely stamps on the cardstock and all more than I ever do. So it's right. It's something you can always learn from other people, right? It's not just what you create. So I like that. And I've tried to work on incorporating that because it does make it, right? It's just nice. All right, and we're just going to put these two panels together. So the two panels are actually just put together, just the one side, right? We're not doing the whole thing. And yes, it's beautiful paper on the back side too. I try not to focus on that. Hello, Sue. I put this right here. And then I'm just going to put it up on dimensionals. So if Francine watches or whatever looks at this, she can say that I followed her about the best I could. Right, so sometimes when we're together, we'll create together, and then other times, right, we just sort of send the information or send the sample over, and that's just how you do a craft along, right, when you work with somebody else. I enjoy it because we all create a little bit differently. Huh. Where are you off to now, Sue? Oops. Put that aside. That one can stick there. Oops. Yes, and I didn't hurt my... I don't have an injury on my thumb. That is just strictly from a nail that keeps on getting caught and wants to tear on me. So that's why I did that. All right, and Pooh is also on dimensionals. And actually, butterflies at the time that stamp camp was being put together and all, the butterflies weren't available. But when they came in, I sort of changed things out. So I put a butterfly on Pooh's nose because I think I just like that, right? It seems like I always remember seeing butterflies land on their nose, whether they did or did not. And I used the Hydrangea hue. So they either come out with large butterflies or you have some really small ones. So see how small those small ones are? So I'm actually using the larger butterflies on here, so it's just a little bit more noticeable, especially when I'm putting it on Pooh's nose. The other one I always thought was cute too is putting it on Eeyore's nose. Alright, so then we're just going to add a little bit of ribbon here, which I have put in my... So everybody that got the stamp camp, right, they got a spool of this golden glow ribbon. And they got some of the bling, right? The dots, though, not the butterflies. So they had it to use and put on. So I had to be sure to put some in mine. And we're just going to use some glue dots and put on the inside. And then we're pretty much done with this card. So I like how cute and simple it is, right? We think sometimes we have to do everything over the top. Which we do, right? Sometimes we do. As we do more and more cards, we're always looking for the next greatest over-the-top card that we can make. But I always remind people, simple is really nice too. Don't forget that. Quick and simple is very nice, right? Because if I'm making cards for kids in the hospital or anything like that, right, I'm going to sit there and try to get out as many cards as I can. So for me, they have to be cute and simple. And plus, they really don't like the complicated stuff because that stuff might come over. All right, so here's this on the outside, and then we're just going to put this on the inside. And she didn't have anything decorative on the inside, so I didn't decorate anything on the inside. You could, though, right? One of the things you'll see later on as we do the craft along and do more of it, I have used different images of the stamp sets and used the stamp off and have had the image in the background. All right, so there we go. We have her card made. It's this easy, right? Love it. Makes life easy. All right, let's get ready now to do the second card, which is the over-the-top card. All right, so let me just show you a couple things before we actually do it. And I was just looking for something to write on real quick. Oh, there you go. I see you. I do. So I met Van D the other day. We saw her when we were celebrating Margaret Mom's birthday. And the thing is this is where this all started, was Margaret Mom. So I had to recreate this because Margaret Mom's was 6 inches tall. I wanted to use the whole, if you go and want to use this hole right here, this is 6 inches tall, and I don't remember how long it is. So, and when I made Margaret Mom's for her 93rd birthday, I used this. So this is actually, you get about 8 inches because this is like right on the end, and you're not going to put it like right at the top. But I want to be sure to capture this north, west, south, and all this, the directions. So the thing is you have to keep that in mind. But this is 6 inches tall, so I wanted to make sure that I made hers where I captured as much of all this that I could. This one is, I had to come and make a modified version for us because that was a lot of paper making a 6 inch. So this is still a lot of paper, but it's less than what I did on Margaret Mom. So when you turn 93 and you want me to make you a special card for your 93rd birthday, just let me know and I'll do it. All right, so we're going to start with this. I want to show you how the slider works. So this just slides off, right? I used to just help keep it closed. But the slider is going to slide off just like this here. It's going to be really easy. It's going to open up, and this is what we're going to start making, okay? So this is what it's going to look like. And this is actually a pocket card that's going to slide in and out. So we're going to make that as well, too. Okay? So we're going to make the whole thing. So there's a lot of layers here. A lot of layers. But I got inspired because Rachel Tessman reached her $2 million lifetime with this Stampin' Up, right? And Stampin' Up made her this type of card. It wasn't this design and all, but this type of card. And then she turned around and made one with something else, and I just used what I got inspired by, right? So I'm going to start off with the base, because the base is a little tricky at first if you want everything to match. So the reason why this is so large is you got 2 flaps that we're going to add to it, right? And then in addition to it, we got something that's going to come over the top as well. So there's a lot of paper going on here. So I'm going to first fold these on the score line. And what's going to happen is this is actually going to attach to this just like here. Let me show you that again. So we have this here, and we're going to attach it just like this right here. Okay, so what you want to look for though is when you fold it down, are the edges, right? Are the edges smooth and match? Well, they're not. This is a little bit larger. Okay, so we're going to fix that. So the way that we're going to fix it is we're going to take, and I did get my trimmer that I had someone's borrowing. So what we're going to do is we're going to trim this off just a smidgen, literally just a smidgen. So I'm going to come here and we put this. So when I say a smidgen, like here's the cut line, I'm just going to go to the other side of the brown right here. Now I'm doing this live, so I'm believing I'm going to do this correctly. And I'm just going to, all right, you can see that is a smidgen, all right? And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side because the issue is the same on both sides. Right, because we just duplicated. So I'm going to take a smidgen off there. Okay, you can see it's not really going to change a whole lot yet. All right. Now let's see, let's go this way. This is just if you want a smooth edge, right? Okay, so see, we're not quite there yet. But what we're going to do now is we're going to take a smidgen off of this over here. All right, I'm going to do the same thing on the other flap. And I'm just doing this one that I haven't folded yet. Now, personally for me, I can tell you I would not get necessarily bent out of shape over this, but you know, sometimes we just want to do things the way we want to do. All right, let's see how it's looking now. All right, now see how, as a result, see how that's all straight and there's no edge there? That's just because I took a smidgen off. So lots of times, right, we can correct things just by doing a smidgen. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to glue this on. And it's just going to go like this right here, right? It's just going to butt up to it evenly just like that. It doesn't matter which side you put the glue on. I really don't care, right? The main thing is that I sit there and get glue on here. And yes, my techie isn't here today, but you know, we did write a lot of notes, and I already had messaged her a couple of times. Because I don't usually do YouTube lives. I usually do it on Facebook and convert it over. But I'm looking into doing that more and looking into other possibilities. Right? You're always learning new things. Always. Okay, now see how that lines up, and I'm just going to make sure that's in there real good. And I'll tell you, it is also better too if you go ahead and burnish these. Someone asked me in my household, what did burnish mean? This is what it is. We're burnishing the corners or the edges, right? Just getting it right in there. It's just going to help in the end because this gets really, really bulky, as you can tell, right? All right, so let's do the other side. Okay, and I'll double check. I'll double check to make sure I got my edges all. Yeah, there we go. Double check. As my daughter would say, it's better to double check. Hers was referring to cutting wood, but it's the same thing, right? Doesn't matter if you're doing fabric, wood, or whatever. And let's do this right here. And I'm going to do the same thing, right? I'm just going to make sure I burnish those well. Alright. So here is the outside part right here. Okay. Now here's the flap. Now the flap here, I set there, and it is better and easier if you go ahead and do your die. So this is actually already did my score line on, and then I just fed the thing to be embossed, and that's just the easiest way to do it. And you can see where it came through here. So what we're going to do with this here is this is just going to go right here. It's going to be glued down just the flap because we're going to cover it. So this is a little reverse than normal. Normally I start on the outside, work my way in, but in this particular case, we're getting all the stuff on the inside because there's a lot of things going on the inside here. And you want to get it covered up. So actually I'm going to put something down in a minute that's going to cover this up. But we have to make sure our edges are good, right? So we want to make sure our edges are really good up here. And you want to make sure you can fold these easily, right? Because this is going to fold in. But this is going to come over, and so that's why this is a little bit different too, because of the fact is, and I didn't do a second score line. I'm supposed to have a second score line and I didn't do it. So we'll see how that goes for me. Right? All right, so this is the back panel that I'm going to use to cover this, and this is the wood grain here. Hello, Black Samurai. I know who you are. All right, so we're just going to put this, and you could do the lighter side. You can do either side if you wanted to, right? And just cover this right here. So it's just covering up our work, right? It's basically what it's doing. Okay. So that's not all. So when you look at this right here, see how that folds over? So this is where we're going to make a little holder for our, right? Or for our little pull-out card right here. And actually, I have that one stamped as well, too. I actually stamped that with some wish flowers. I was thinking what it is called. Now this here is we've got this coming across like this. I'm just going to use the scissors. Don't go. The first time around I went straight where these two intersected, but it left just a little bit of a hole. So I'm just going to go a smidgen underneath. That's all I'm going to do. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and fold my score lines. And I'm going to go ahead, I didn't do it when I did my original, but we're going to also cut diagonally across here, and we'll use it. But I'm also going to go ahead and stamp this a minute as well, too. So we're just going to cut it at a diagonal, because that's what gives you the look right here when you look at the pocket, right? Because we cut it, part of it off at a diagonal, so we're going to do that. And I'm going to do it right now, and I can't, you know what, I just came over about 1.5 inches. So you take this, it's going to end at this edge down here, right, on the corner here. And I just came up here to about 1.5 inches. So if you don't know how to do that, you can do it either way. This is already 1.5 inches, so I don't have to guess. And I'm just lining up that point there to where I have this right here, the score line, right? Okay, and all I'm going to do, it just moved on me. No, it didn't. Okay, there you go. I didn't even think about it anymore, right? If I think too hard, I'll mess up. All right, so we got our diagonal right here, and I'm going to sit there and stamp. I just randomly stamped. I didn't have any particular thing I had in mind. I can go ahead and put I already have fussy cut this out. So this one you have to fussy cut out. This is on the busy character page, and I'm going to do it like this here. And this is just glued down, right? And I will tell you this little stream here for the balloon is real thin and tiny too. So I don't want to accidentally tear that off or anything. But I just put the poo there with the, not poo, piglet there with the balloon. And then I just stamped around it. And you know what, I just used, it doesn't matter, right? Because it's a dark color. I just went ahead and used the Golden Glow because I'm going to use it for other stuff as well. Yeah, yeah, there's just 3 on here, so I just stamped around, right? There's no method to the madness, just want to get some on the page, right? And I just want to make sure they're going in the direction I think they should go if dandelions were blowing in the wind outside, okay? The other thing I did with this is I took this here, and you could do it with Castella. I did it with this as well. I sit there and all I did is I took this and I flicked it. And you know, personally, I like doing the scissors better. I mean, I can do the bone folder, but I do this first. Let's see, I don't see any ink in there. Let me get some ink in there. So yes, this is the new shimmer pen. It's just like Wink Stella, except it's longer, and it can do the same things. So there we go. I think I see it now. Let me use this instead. Whatever works, right? Oh, there we go. So you can see it splattered all over the white. So when it dries, then we'll just have the glittery aspect of that there. Just like we do Wink Stella. And then I'm just going to take these here. I didn't even bother whether it dried or not, and it got sparkle on the other side. I really, doesn't bother me at all. Alright, so I'm just going to glue these down, but I'm going to go ahead, just like I did a minute ago, I'm going to take my bone folder. Let's just burnish these edges, so hopefully they won't give me such a hard time. And let's see here. Okay. Now you could use tear and tape. I want to say one of these, oh, it was this edge here. Just a little bit, that flag come over, so I'm just going to cut that off. Alright. So you could use glue. I'm using glue because glue allows me to maneuver a little bit in case I mess up. But you don't have to. And, you know, you could have wrapped this pocket around the background, but I chose not to. Just because I can, right? I did it the way I wanted to do it. I just wanted to make it super special for Margaret Mom. That was the main thing. Alright, so I'm just going to, I just sort of aligned it just as if it was just regular cardstock. So if you see, I'm just sort of aligning it with a corner here and right here. I know, I did that without even the pocket in there, but it's okay. It is okay. Alright, so the next thing, let's go ahead and make the part that's going to be the pocket right here. Alright, so I did on this one here, as you can see here, I used the stamp off of Pooh. It's just very, very light. Okay? So there you go. So that's all I'm going to do is going to do it very, very dry, and you can see that we've got the linen on there. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do here, is I'm going to stamp Pooh Bear on here. I mean, I like Pooh Bear, so right, you can do Piglet, you can do anybody else. It's not limited to just Pooh Bear. And I will have to tell you, when I gave this to Margaret Mom, I did not write on here, right? So we could write a note on here. I didn't. And the reason why I didn't is I liked it. Hers actually had, because hers is larger, she actually had a fussy cut or a die cut image of Pooh, and I just didn't. I liked it, and I didn't want to have to write a sentiment or anything all over it with Pooh and everybody there and everything looking nice. Same thing with here, right? So I most probably wouldn't. What I did do though, right? If you created it and you don't want to write in it because of your images and all, I just flipped it over and I put a sentiment on back, and then on the very back of the card itself, because I still needed more space, I wrote more back there. So that's how I handled it, because I really didn't want to mess up the image of Pooh and everything and all what I gave to her. Let me see. I'm looking for my linen thread that I know is here handy. It's supposed to be here handy. And if not, I'll not put it on yet. Okay, I've got everything in the world here. I don't see my linen thread. All right. Not going to worry about it, right? It's those things like that we're just not going to sweat. Because it doesn't matter. The linen thread was put on afterwards. I have linen thread everywhere in this house, so it's like, seriously. Okay, so we're just going to put this here. And it'll be ready to go in the pocket. So, right, so you can put the same thing on the back side where they can write. You can add more to it as much as you want. This one's not going to have, unless I find it buried under my ribbon here in a minute. But if not, Oh, here it is. Yay, or a sliver of it. I know I have another pack. We're going through linen thread like there's no tomorrow. But hey, you know, it goes with everything, so I don't know what to tell you. So I actually wrapped it around twice, and what I did is, so I don't always do bows live very well, but I made sure to leave myself however much I thought it was going to take for me to be able to make a bow. So I usually allow myself about 8 inches, especially when I'm doing live. When I'm not doing live, I can make a bow without all that. All right, and I just make sure both ends were the same length, right? I know I'm going to trim it off. Okay, and that is all I have on that spool, but I know there's more here somewhere. All right, and I'm just going to take this and tie it into a bow. And it's up to you if you want to tie it to the other one or not. I mean, the nice thing is with linen thread, right? If it gets too loose, all you gotta do is spread it out on the side there, and it just gives it a unique look. So I don't sweat the small stuff, and sometimes I'm just thinking if I did my bow the right way or not. Okay, I did. Right? Bows go a certain way. Alright, I'm just going to trim this here. It'll do what it wants to do. And then I'm just going to go here, and I'm going to just slide it in here. Okay, see how nice it is? It's just going to go in there. It looks like it might cut on the edge there, but if so, I just wiggle it down in there. Because it's got a side here, and we know that. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Now see how that looks? Again, I just made sure when I did it, I just aligned it with the corners, right? Where the corners look this way. No one else is going to allow that, and there you go. Okay, so that's this section here. Now the next part we're going to do is we're going to put on these panels. So when I cut the panels out, I try to keep them in order if I can when I cut them out, right? So it looked consistent going across, right? So this one's going to go here. This is going to go here. This one is going to go here, and this one's going to go on the end. So we're going to go ahead and get these on. So when we do this, we're done with the inside. Then all the work's going to be on the outside. Move that over just a second. Yeah. So this is right. This is going to become where I'm going to line all the different panels just like this. Wherever I start, that's going to give me the eye for the other. See how cute that is on the back with the little poo in the tree? This is what we made yesterday. When I cut this, I tried to save as many poo. There's only like 4 of them that are in the tree like that on that paper. So when you cut it and you want those, you just need to work on cutting around it. So I use this to line. All right, I'm not too worried about this side here, but if you are concerned about it, all you gotta do is close the card, right? Like this here. And you can come over here, get an idea. I would do this one first. I didn't do this one first, but it gives you an idea to be able to eyeball it and see how close you are there. But I usually just don't worry about that, right? I've not had, I assure you, and Margaret Mom opened her card because her birthday was actually last Tuesday. And that's where we met Vandy at, yes, and her sister, Deanna, and I think it's Deanna, and Linda, her friend Linda. So actually I was with Linda and her mom, and then she was with her friend, her sister and her with her friend Linda. And we met each other on Margaret Mom's birthday. Oh yeah. All right, so this isn't still where it's going to close at, but one thing we are going to put on the front of here is I took this one here that has a gift, right? Or I don't know if it's a gift, but it's definitely a package, right? So I thought that's the closest I had to go with that. So I'm going to put this down here. Again, you can see the different scenic panels that they have. And you know what? All the dies match being able to cut them out for you. Put that there. All right, now there we go. Okay, so now we're coming to this part right here on these edges. So these are actually going to come over, but we're going to, you see it right now, but we're actually going to trim these down. Okay, so don't get excited about it yet. And we're going to save the slider to last because that's really where it belongs, right? All right, so here was originally, I sat there and embossed this after I cut it. but it originally was like this here, and I die cut it from the top to the bottom. And the reason why, you see here how it makes a hole and the images go there. The reason why I do it like this is we're going to cut a wedge off of here. It doesn't matter if you make it big, small, whatever. And don't even think about it. I'm just going to come right here and there's my wedge. Okay? That's like the most important thing for the outside look. All right. So then we just flip it back over like this here. So that is how you're getting the look that we're getting right here. It is nothing more than, I guess it's right there. There you go. It's nothing more than the fact that we cut an edge because we sat there and cut a wedge out together, right? Yeah, it's really unique, right? I can see myself doing more of these because I do like the sliders and I like really doing them for my grandkids and all. But that's all we did, right? We took those two halves, put them together, and just cut a wedge. Beginning and end of story. Don't even think about it, right? I'm just thinking about making sure I got my scenery going the right directions. There we go. All right, so then what we're going to do here is so the way that I got this is two-tone cardstock, and you see where I did this right here. So all I did is I took one of these nail filing brushes, and we're just going to go in. You can do it as much or as little you want, right? But it just gives it that nostalgic look, which this is nostalgic, right? This is Pooh Bear and Crew, like sort of in the beginning. I wanted my east and north and west and all that to show up, right? So you can focus just like you would on your nails or anything else you want to file. You focus on it as much or as little as you want, all right? I just wanted to get some of that white out so we could sit and see that. So this will work on any of the two-tone cardstock, right? Because it's got a white core. Stampin' Up! Regular cardstock does not have a white core. Solid color all the way through. And don't even worry about that. Just switch that up, right? Because it's going to be glued down. You just have to be careful, though. Sometimes, like where this river went through, it gets really, really thin. So I've really worked at being gentle and careful when I go around that. Like I said, one thing about this embossing folder, it really, really embossed very well. Okay, so let's get one side on. So we can get this side on first, and we're just going to glue it down. And we're just going to center it, right, along the edges there so it lines up with the edges. I would tell you that usually when I do something that's embossed like this here, I do usually use glue. Just for me, it just seems to do better. Don't worry about this. We're fixing to correct all that in a minute. You're going to see how we're going to do that. Same thing here. I'm just going to eyeball it, get those corners lined up there. I can slide it a little bit more over if I want to. And I'm just going to look and see if they look about the same. Okay, they do. That's the main thing for me, is it looks similar. They don't have to be perfect, but similar. All right, so what we're going to do here. Now, you could do it with your trimmer. I didn't. I just went ahead and did it with my scissors. So I'm going to come and I just wanted to look about the same as I did on the outside. And I'm just going to come and I'm just going to cut straight across like that. So so whereas normally we would sit there and the paper would be cut that way, I didn't. I'm just doing it by hand. But you can do it any way you want. I would tell you whatever is easiest for you, right? I don't think there is. Some things are easier for people one way and others another way. Okay, that one I might trim a little bit more because I just looks like I got off. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing to the other side so you can see how this is coming together. I do. I have to start somewhere where I feel like I'm going from the bottom up. Again, that's just a personal preference, right? Like I said, it's sort of like fussy cutting or anything else. Whatever floats your boat, that's what you do. Because you're the one creating. It is, you know, it is a unique layout. And, you know, this isn't something, right, we would go make bunches and bunches of. But we sure would make it a special occasion, right? Because it's, like I said, it's a lot of cardstock. In fact, this right here is like, sometimes I get annoyed with that extra paper like that. I feel like it's tugging at me when I'm cutting, so I just cut it off. There we go. All right. Okay, so then what you see here is, as we fold this up, the way this is going to work is, yes, it goes right here, but this flap comes right there. So I'm going to have to do mine because I didn't do my extra little score line there. But you really need it, right? Because it's like, it's really, really thick. I really should have, as I'm doing this, I really should have done my original one, I just another score line to allow for this. And I didn't do it on this one. It's okay. The world didn't end. It did not end. Okay, so you see how it covers. So when you sit there and do this upper flap, if I had done just a 1/4 of an inch score line on the top before I put it down, it would have covered this real much easier and all, and cover this up the bottom. So I didn't do that, and it's okay. If it bothers you, if it really bothered you, what I would do is I would take my cutter and I would just trim it off. And that would solve that. I wouldn't have to be bothered by it. All right, let's make the slider mechanism. So the slider mechanism is actually 3 circles. I just use a circle punch to do this. So one of them, right, it's a circle. So it doesn't matter where you do the score line, just do it in half. That's what I did here. So this is going to be, I'm thinking about this a second. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this right here. All right, so this one circle is going to be the base. I had to think about what I was doing in a second. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to glue this half down, and I'm going to fold the last circle down and fold it in half. It's been a few days since I made this. All right, so, right, it's a circle. It's the same circle. I just used my circle punch. I think I used the 2-inch circle punch. All right. Sliders can be made different ways. I've made these before and I've done them other ways too, but right, whatever works. This one works well for this one. So I'll tell you that. I was trying to do, when I've done a slider before with dimensionals, it did not work with this. Again, because we're coming at an angle, right? So let's get this on. So the main thing is when we're going to go ahead and get the slider on first before we put the top part on. Because I want you to see this. I'm just going to glue all over that. Okay. So we're going to go ahead. It doesn't really matter how perfect this is one way or the other, right? Because it's actually going to be hidden, per se. Okay. So see how we get, when we do this, we get 2 flaps here because we did 2 halves together. All right. So when you go and slide this on, we're just going to slide it just like this here. And that, see how that works? But the key to it is the flaps have to be on top, right? Okay, so you want to get this on here first because now this is going to show you basically, basically about 1/8 of a border is what I did. Yeah, about 1/8 of a border. Just, I want it to look just like my edges, pretty close to my edges, right? And you can see when I did it, it left a little bit of a gap, which we need for the slider. So yeah, I would say it's about 1/8, right? I think that's what we usually do anyway. So the main thing is, right, when you get the circle, you want the circle right here. All right? Then we're going to put this on top just like that, okay? Because if you do it first and you center it just like this, it's not going to work, right? So let's get the slider on first, and then we'll go ahead and then put the seam that we cut with the balloon on top. And we'll center it, and it'll be centered just the way we want it. All right. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And what I did is, just take something, right? Anything. And I'm looking at blocks around here. I got all kind of blocks. I'm just going to put my block right here in the center, right there while I do that. And I'm going to cut my ribbon to wrap around. because it's just a lot of bulk, right? It's just a lot of bulk. But that's what makes it fun and pretty. All right. So we're just going to take, I know it took me quite a bit. All right, let me measure this out here. Get me some ribbon, make sure I get enough. Okay. So that's about 25 inches. All right, it should be good now. But see how it puffs up like this? I mean, it's not that it says you couldn't, but see how it just, even though we sat there and burnished the edges, we still get where it wants to come up. And actually, I could have done it a little nicer if I had scored that, done a second score line. I had to go check my tutorials to see if I had that in my tutorials, and I just didn't follow my own tutorials. Which is very possible, right? Every day's a new day for me, so, right? We do have a tendency sometimes not to even follow our own directions. All right, so I'm just going to tie my bow, and then I'm done. And there you have your over the top, right? So we had literally, it's figuratively and literally. We have an over the top that's folding over, which in itself would make just a nice card too, right? But we made it over the top literally because we put so many layers on here. All right, so there's my bow. And I'll show you and give you a sneak peek for tomorrow. I didn't even put any bling on here because they really didn't need any bling, right? It had a lot going on. So Van D also got to see Mom Margaret's 6-inch tall one. Whoop, whoop. So there you go. All right, so let me show you what tomorrow's going to look like so you can see what those look like. So tomorrow, I'll put this aside, clear this out just a little bit here. I get to clean up my mess later because an elf doesn't come do it for me. So here is tomorrow. Just give you an idea. Tomorrow, this is card number 5. And we're making a bag tomorrow. Now, it is not this bag, right? Mom Margaret got the bag, the sample I did already. So, there you go. That's what we're doing tomorrow. We're doing the bag, 3D project, as well as a card. So, you'll just have to wait till tomorrow to see what that real bag looks like. The one I post is the one we actually did for Mom Margaret. So, there you go. Let's see if I can get back over here. Right? It's all about creating, sharing, and giving. And I would tell you, for Mom Margaret, not only did I make the bag and the card, I also made some gift card holders. I made 4 gift card holders, and I decorated each one differently. I think I have some pictures, or I can make some more and show you what I did. It's not part of the stamp camp, but they're still fun, right? Because you can make fun gift card holders by 6x6 paper. And that's what I did for Mom Margaret. But you can decorate them any way you want to. So for her, I put a spinner on one. Actually, when we make this bag tomorrow, I might put a spinner on the tag. My original one I did, but I figured that would have been a little bit too much for Margaret Mom, so I actually put a dimensional behind it so it wouldn't like swirl around because it was on a spinner. But I did do it on her gift card holder because I could, right? So with that, thank you for joining us. And I thank you for supporting us not only here, but also on Instagram and YouTube. With that, I look forward to seeing you. Oh, thank you. Case it all you want. It's about having fun, making someone's day, right? That's what it's all about, making someone's day, making them smile. 93 years old. I want to be just like Margaret Mom. I want to be driving my own car still. I want to be able to go and create things, do things that woman creates all the time. You've seen it in the... We didn't do anything for the stamp camp this time, but she's done it for the retreat. She's made things for our bingos. She's made things. Her and I get together, and she makes things for me so I can give to you. She is totally amazing and awesome, and she's just so fun to be with. So, with that, be blessed. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow where we're on day 3. Make the card, and we'll make the gift bag. Bye.